In our last video, we saw 5 common trauma responses, what we come across in our day to day lives. And before we move on to some more common trauma responses, I would like to talk about these 5 in detail in my upcoming videos so that we understand what childhood experiences inside us trigger these in our adult lives and how we can help ourselves. So, let's pick the first one, overthinking or hypervigilance. Do you find yourself constantly replaying conversations or messages inside your head? Some conversation you would have had with somebody keeps replaying in your head. You try to find meanings of a message that was sent to you, not the direct meaning, but try to find if there was a hidden meaning in that text which was sent to you. Try to read between lines, try to find a tone of that message which was sent, or try to analyze the expression of the person with which it was sent. Do you find it difficult to switch off your brain from constant overthinking and come to the present moment? Do you find it difficult to concentrate and keep worrying about things that could go wrong? Now, these are some of the things what people call as overthinking, and most of the times it is your nervous system trained in that particular way and which is performing till date. Let's try to understand this through a story. Ananya had a very unpredictable childhood. Her father would return from office cheerful, happy, and affectionate some day, and other days he might be quiet, angry, irritable, or even very critical. So she was totally unaware of the version of her father who would walk through the door. The others in the house would adapt based on the mood with which he would enter the house. So Ananya had to be very careful before she approached him or spoke to him. She would quietly look at his face, try to assess from his footsteps or the way he closes the door, the way he interacts with others in the house, and then make sure of what mood he is in and then approach so that nothing goes wrong. So she learned at a very young age that she has to pay attention to the minute details of someone's expressions and behave accordingly so that she's safe. Her grandfather loved her in his own way, but always believed that whatever elders did or said was right and it had to be totally obeyed to with respect without asking or questioning anything. He would always tell Ananya, speak carefully. You should have thought before you speak. Be careful whom you're speaking to. You should have known that coming, and things like that, which again made her think, feel, and believe that whatever she said and did had to be thought over a million times, and she had to do it very carefully so that she doesn't hurt others and herself, and if she did that she'll be safe. Now for a child, that is an intelligent move and a survival mechanism or a coping mechanism so that he or she is safe for that moment and they pass that situation. But years passed. Now Ananya is a grown up, she's working in a big firm. She doesn't live with her parents, but every small thing makes her anxious or she overthinks. She got a message from her manager in the evening. Can we talk tomorrow, Ananya? The whole evening and that night, she thought about everything that could go wrong. What mistake did I make? Why is he asking to meet me? Did I do anything wrong? Did I miss anything in today's meeting? What would happen tomorrow? Now, till next morning, she did not have an answer. And after meeting her manager, he wanted to congratulate on her project, which was successful, and hand over another project to her. So, this is what happens when our nervous system is constantly trained to expect danger in whatever we say and do, and we end up thinking everything that could go wrong. A small WhatsApp message sent to someone. Ananya sent her husband a message. He did not reply back, and he has seen that message. Now her brain starts. What did I do wrong? Why is he angry with me? He has seen my message and not replied. Doesn't he love me anymore? Etc., etc., etc. Until her husband replies back 2 hours later, apologizing that his phone battery was dead and he could not reply back to her immediately. Now, many of us might be in this situation, and for all of us to know, this is not a problem or a character fault. This is something our brain has trained for years and now trying to be in a survival mode still. What worked as a child is not working as an adult, and we are getting exhausted as it is coming up in every area of our life. Now, what can we do to help ourselves from this overthinking? I would like to help you with two small practices what you could try and let me know if it worked. The moment you start overthinking about something, separate the facts from the fears. In Ananya's case, the moment she sent her husband a message and she did not get a reply. This scenario, close your eyes. What is the fact? The fact is she sent her husband a message. What is the story your brain has created? On the other side, that he doesn't love me, he doesn't have time for me, what is wrong with me, did I miss anything, etc., etc., etc. Which are stories your brain is creating because of your previous experiences. Now, once you understand this, you feel better that it is the fact and the fears separated and you were overthinking. It is ideal to write this, but if you are a constant overthinker and you find it difficult to write, I would suggest to start doing this by imagining the facts and story immediately and relaxing yourself. The 5 4 3 2 1 grounding method, what I have discussed in one of my previous videos, helps a lot to bring ourselves back into the reality. 5 things that you see in your current environment, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So you can go back and refer to that video if you would like to know more about it. So, one thing is separating your facts from your stories. The stories what your brain is creating but are not real. The second method is doing or building a safety journal for yourself. At the end of every day, write what was one thing I was worried about today and write what actually happened. Now, when we start doing this, what happens? The brain starts getting evidences written. There is a connection between the brain and the nerve endings of our hand when we write. That is why people say it's very important to write, journal. Journaling comes into picture hence. So when you write what went wrong and what was something what I was worried about today and what actually happened, when you start writing every day what actually happened, the brain starts getting evidences that whatever it feared as danger or things that might go wrong were actually not dangers, and it was just stories that the brain was making. And the best part is the trauma or these experiences were created by repetitive patterns in the brain, and the same brain can heal from this pattern by repetitive support given to it in the form of these journals and these affirmations. So please try doing these and let me know if it works. You can either comment on the video or send me separate messages. So please understand that overthinking is not a problem, it is not a character flaw, and we end up overthinking because of few unpleasant experiences what we had to go through, and our nervous system went to a survival mode, and now we are trying to help ourselves to become a better version.